My father, a pharmaceutical billionaire, made me believe I was his only child for 25 years. I thought I was his sole heir. But 2 weeks before my 25th birthday, the day I received my $500 million trust fund, I received an anonymous text. My DNA results were fake. My father had switched them to disinherit me. He thought he was untouchable, but I was about to crash his biggest shareholder meeting with the real, devastating truth. Hello, everyone. My name is Anya, and I'm 25 years old. I am the beloved daughter of Victor Thorne, founder and CEO of Thorne Pharmaceuticals, one of the largest medical empires in the world. Our life was a constant stream of luxury, private islands, a Fifth Avenue penthouse, and a destiny set to inherit a $500 million trust fund on my 25th birthday. Before we dive into this, tell me in the comments, where are you watching this video from right now, and what time is it for you? I truly love reading every single one. If you enjoy stories of massive betrayal, shocking secrets, and calculated revenge, please take a second to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. It genuinely helps more people find these incredible truths. Now, let's begin.
2 weeks before my 25th birthday, the day I was supposed to take control of my massive inheritance, everything shattered. I was scrolling through my private banking app when an anonymous, encrypted text message popped up. It contained a single line: "Ask Victor about the paternity test from 20 years ago," followed by a secure link to a partially redacted medical file. Curiosity turned to dread when I clicked the link. It was a genetic lab result, dated 20 years ago, showing a 99.9% exclusion of Victor Thorne as my biological father. The document was clearly genuine, buried deep within a medical archive, and flagged as highly confidential. I wasn't Victor Thorne's daughter. I collapsed onto my silk rug. All the love, all the praise, all the lavish gifts. It was all a lie. Victor didn't love me. He was simply raising a useful, educated heir. Why the elaborate deception? The Thorne family trust had a single, ironclad clause. Only a direct biological descendant of Victor Thorne could inherit the fortune or assume control of the company. If I wasn't his biological daughter, I was entitled to nothing. My father had raised me, but he had legally and medically ensured that when the time came, the money would not be mine. The final realization hit me like a train. He planned to reveal the truth after my birthday, after I had spent 25 years preparing for a role I could never have. He wanted the prestige of raising a daughter without the liability of giving her his money. I knew the only way he could have maintained this charade for 25 years was if he had switched the DNA sample during the mandatory paternity test required when the trust was established. I needed the real proof of who I was, and I needed it before my 25th birthday. I secretly contacted an elite genetics laboratory in Switzerland, posing as a medical researcher, and arranged for an advanced, anonymous paternity test. The only sample I had access to was my mother's hairbrush and a piece of Victor's expensive monogrammed handkerchief I knew he always kept in his suit pocket. I mailed the samples. I spent the next 10 days living a double life, smiling and planning with Victor for the birthday party, while silently counting down the hours until the results came back. The results arrived 3 days before my birthday. I opened the file with trembling hands. It didn't confirm Victor was my father, which I already knew, but it provided the real, shocking truth. My biological father was Robert Vance, Victor's younger, estranged brother. Robert was an eccentric, kind-hearted academic who had been publicly disowned by Victor decades ago after a major business disagreement. Victor had effectively stolen my mother from his brother, but when I was born, he realized he couldn't pass me off as Robert's child or as his own heir unless he switched the samples. He hid me, the true heir, under his nose. If I proved I was Robert's daughter, the inheritance clause would still be complicated, but it would expose Victor's fraud to the highest degree. I had the key to his destruction, and I knew exactly when and where to use it. My 25th birthday party was scheduled to start at 7 p.m., but at 3 p.m., Victor Thorne was scheduled to deliver the biggest corporate address of the year, a mandatory shareholder meeting where he was asking for billions in capital to expand his company. This meeting was his weakest, most public moment. I didn't go to the party preparation. I dressed impeccably in a fierce black suit and drove to the towering Thorne Pharmaceuticals headquarters. I walked past security and went directly to the auditorium where the meeting was already underway. I wasn't on the guest list, but my appearance, the supposed heir, looking devastated, got me noticed immediately. I marched down the main aisle just as Victor was reaching the climax of his presentation, promising a stable future under his unwavering family legacy. I stopped directly in front of the massive stage, looking up at Victor. He froze mid-sentence, his face turning the color of ash. "Anya, what are you doing here? Go home," he hissed, his voice echoing through the microphone. I ignored him. I pulled out my phone, and using a high-powered Bluetooth speaker I had carefully concealed, I began to speak to the entire room. "Good afternoon, shareholders. Before you invest billions in Victor Thorne's family legacy, you deserve the truth about his personal integrity." The entire room, hundreds of investors, analysts, and board members, was silent. Victor Thorne has spent 25 years building his legacy on a lie. He has frauded his own company, his own board, and his own family. He is not my biological father. I held up the sealed certified results from the Swiss lab. Here is the proof. Victor Thorne is a liar and a thief. He switched my DNA results 20 years ago to ensure I could never inherit his fortune. Victor abandoned the podium, scrambling down the stairs toward me, his face twisted with pure panic. "Security, get her out! She's having a mental episode," he screamed. As security rushed toward me, I played the ultimate card. I had prepared a final certified document. "And one more thing," I said, my voice echoing off the walls. "My real biological father is Robert Vance, Victor's brother, and according to the original, non-fraudulent Thorne Trust documents, Robert Vance is the rightful inheritor of the majority share of this company, not Victor." I tossed the document on the stage. The auditorium erupted in chaos. Shareholders stood up, demanding answers. The board members, who were completely unaware of the sibling rivalry and the DNA swap, rushed the stage. By publicly revealing the DNA fraud and the true heir, I triggered a massive legal investigation into corporate governance and personal fraud, instantly freezing Victor's assets and collapsing his company's stock value by 40% in minutes. Victor was physically escorted out of his own building by his own security team, not as a CEO, but as a humiliated criminal. I walked out of the auditorium through the media frenzy, feeling the weight of the cameras, but also the weight of my own freedom. I had lost the lavish life, but I gained the truth and the satisfaction of knowing I had demolished the empire of the man who valued money more than his own daughter. I didn't steal his money. I simply ensured it went to the people who deserved it, and I made sure the world saw the price of his deception.